Okay, on the bench today we have a Nintendo DS Lite. It was purchased as part of a job lot on eBay, listed as spares repairs, but the seller didn't go into details on any of the items that were in there, what was wrong with them, if they were working. So let's have a look. Overall condition's not too bad. Missing its stylus. Well, let's try switching it on. Okay, I don't think we'll be doing that. Memory serves, that should be a spring-loaded switch. Slide it along, let it go, and it'll slide back. Okay, so that's the first thing. The screens look okay, but won't tell until we can switch it on. Guess we'll start by taking this thing apart then. Get rid of that. Missing a screw. Tri-wing at the top there. It has been a while since I've opened one of these up. Certainly makes it a lot easier when you take them all out. Right, okay. Take these off, trying not to lose the spring or the little bar. Right. Okay, well, there's never been any water damage. The little indicator stickers still look fine. Something going on up the top here. Let's pop this off. I think this should just come off. There we go. What the hell is wrong with that? That's I'm going to switch over to the microscope because I can barely see that. Pop this off. Okay, onto the scope. And that's looking pretty mangled. That's not good. I think that's that for the touchscreen. I think that's the touchscreen cable. Right. Oh, and the power switch, what was the issue with that? Yeah, it doesn't even know there should be a bit sticking out there. The switch, little slider catches on. Might be able to operate that though. Yeah, I can slide that along using the tweezers. So I suppose we could kind of test it. Yeah, do that. Because I haven't even seen if the screens are even working. No, the touchscreen won't work, that's for sure. Right. Yeah, I'll take this little slider out. That way I should be able to poke the tweezers in to try and get the switch to operate. See if it's even powering on. That's the thing, it might not even come on at all. Come on. Jesus, these things usually just fall out when you don't want them to. Come on. There we go. Right. Just pop this back on. So I can put the battery in. Can I get to the switch? Yes, I can. Put this in. Open up. See if I can do anything with that. Oh, we have a light. Okay. We have an issue with the top screen. I'm getting nothing there. And the bottom screen, obviously, we're not going to have touch screen, but the screen itself looks okay. Right. Right, okay. So this is going to need a little bit of work. Seems to be coming on okay, so maybe worth the effort. So this is going to need that connector replaced for the touch screen, providing the ribbon's okay. I'll have to check that. That switch needs replaced, and the top screen so far. Hopefully that's it. I know the top screens are more expensive, so that's not so good. Piece of random tape here. I'm assuming maybe they tried to stick that back down, because there should be a clasp of some kind over the top of that, which appears to be completely missing. Alright, okay, let's get this board out here. So a screw here. I'll pop this back off first. So this screw. To check as well. That doesn't seem to be routed very well because it was struggling to reach. Okay. That back. So touch screen. Yeah, to be fair, that cable looks fine. I don't think there'll be a problem with that. This one on the other hand, let's pop that out of there. Certainly not that it wasn't in tight enough. It does not look too bad. Right, then we have to take that off of there and feed that through this. There's a little slit there. we go. That's that bit off. That cable's looking a little... Oh, it's not looking a little chewed. Right. Okay, so you can see that, but look at that. That's an absolutely massive tear in that cable. I certainly ain't repairing that. Right, okay, so that confirms the top screen's going to need replaced. Right, okay. So far we need one of those little connectors. Switch back overhead. Right, so yeah, we need the little connector for the touchscreen. We need the power switch. Hopefully the one for the touchscreen is available. Easy enough to check. And a top screen. And hopefully that's it. So what I'll do is I'll have a look, do a bit of search, get the parts ordered, and we'll come back to this once parts arrive. Right, it's a few days later and the parts have arrived. We have our new top screen. We have two switches just in case I make a mess of the installation and I need a backup. And I've done the same with the little connectors for the touchscreen. That one's going to be pretty tricky. That's really tiny. So that's going to be a case of fingers crossed that that goes okay, and ordered a stylus. You never know, might get this thing working. So right, that's the parts. Let's get on with getting these installed and hopefully bring this thing back to life. Right, I'm going to start with this connector. Now, I had a little look online and there's actually a way, providing all the pins are intact, which they actually seem to be able to take the latch from a replacement and fit it onto there rather than having to desolder that and solder the new one in, which to me does seem like a better option. Close. Okay, I'll push down. That does seem to be lined up okay. Make sure it's going to pop up without flying off. Right, okay. Job number one done. I didn't have to break out the solder iron, which is handy. I mean, I would have probably used hot air, but then you're running the risk of melting the plastic. Could have done it from underneath, I suppose. There's not really much in the way of components under there. I'll give you an idea. Here's what I would normally use as a fine soldering tip. Yeah, I'd have probably got away with that. But no need to concern myself with that now, because that worked out just fine. Right, so next we'll go with this switch. Now there is a fair bit of plastic close by. We have this switch here. With this connector, I don't want to be melting anything. Underneath, not really that much there. I could probably get away with that if I come underneath it with the hot air. Which is probably what I'm going to do, I think. Filming it may be a little bit awkward coming from underneath, because I'd have to pull it over the edge of the bench. Don't think the camera will pick that up. Okay, let's go back to the overhead view. Okay, I've got the board and some helping hands, so I've got it raised up. Hopefully should be enough to get the hot air underneath. And I'll get this off. Go. Seemed like a bit of a struggle there. What I'll do is I'll add some fresh solder to those points. Clean it up with a bit of wick. A little bit more. Here for that, so I can lay it flat on the desk. Some solder wick. Clean this up. Without burning my fingers. Cotton bud. Clean this up. Now I should be able to put this new one on just using the soldering iron. Certainly be my preference. Where's my tweezers? There we go. New switch. There's an old one. And you can see the bit that's clearly missing. So this isn't exactly the same. Slightly different anchor points either side, but the two outer ones should line up, and the pins look like they're going to line up. Let's just double check that. And that one doesn't seem to quite reach by the looks of that. This one's perfect, and all the back pins are lining up. I'll probably just have to add a bit extra solder on this side. Okay, right, so I'm going to get a little bit of flux. Challenge pads. Drop this back in place. Jab it into the side just to keep everything still. Okay, I'm happy with that. And I think I'll tack in this side first. Pins are all still lined up. Hopefully you can see this okay. In fact, I'll switch back over to the microscope. You can be able to see that a bit better now. You can see that pin's slightly short of the pad. I've sold it, that's not going to be a problem. Yeah, it's solid in place. But like I say, all the pins at the back appear to line up just fine. Bit too much solder there. Flux and a clean iron, hopefully take some of that away. They're not shorted, so nothing to worry about. Right. Okay, give this a bit of a clean. Right, back to the overhead view. Okay, so that's that sorted. So the next thing is going to be getting this rear screen fitted. So I've never done one before. I have to say it looks like a bit of a pain in the neck because you've got to roll this up to fit it through the hole. And the last thing I want to do is damage the new screen ribbon. But it's got to be done, so let's get to it. Right, in the end, I decided just to solder a complete new one on. I went to refit the ribbon cable into the old connector with the new latch on it, and it just didn't seem secure enough to me. That's the old one there. Slightly melted because I just went for the top. right at the very end, just to make sure I wasn't going to lift any pads, taking it off prematurely. So I gave it a quick blast for the top at the end. So did melt the plastic slightly. But that's the old one, so it doesn't matter. So that's the new one. That's the new one fitted. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording. Come on, there we go. All those pins are nice and solid. I've checked for continuity between the vias and internally on the pins. They're all fine. Checked the 2 earthing points against the ground here, and earthing points, ground points, and they were all spot on. Much easier than I thought, considering how small that is. So that's that done this time. So next up, the screen. Right, let's start on this bit then. Okay, so we've got these little covers for the screws. Somebody's definitely been in here before, because a couple of them seem to have little marks in the corner and been pried up. So 4 screws on this. Speakers, wireless, and the screen. I'm assuming I'll need to reuse these. Is it the other side they're attached to? Yeah, it's the other side, that's fine. Not sure why I'm being really careful with the screen since it doesn't work. Take a quick picture. Make sure I solder these back in the way they come off. This ribbon cable through it. so it's flat. I'm just wondering whether we're just ripping this off. So it's mostly broken anyway. There we go. That certainly made that easier. Take it. This is going to have to come off the front of here. Get the new screen. To make sure this is fingerprint free. I've got the protectors on the new screen, but this front panel isn't. I'll get this as clean as I can. Can always clean the outside once it's done. So this is going to sit in here. Hopefully I've got that clean enough. And then peel this away. Actually, what may be a good idea would be to give the screen a test before I fit it into here, which I should be able to do. Should be able to just plug this in. Doesn't really matter about speakers and stuff. I just want to see that the screen is going to come on. Right. Okay, battery's in place. And there we go. You can see the screen, top screen's working fine. Right. Okay. So if I fit it and it doesn't work, then it's something I've done. So it is working. I hate how tight these are. To attach these before it goes into the screen. So I'll just add a bit of solder to these pads. First speaker, quick look at the phone, see what way round they were. Zoom a bit better, keep disappearing off the screen. Right, now the tricky part, the bit I'm definitely not looking forward to. Right, for what I've seen, it's better to have these removed. now. So pop the microphone and the Wi-Fi cable out. And I say the bit I'm really not looking forward to. So I need to roll this up. Create a tube, and then hopefully be able to feed that through. Not liking that at all. God, there you go. I most definitely did not enjoy doing that. Right. That's that in place. Right, let's get these other bits back together. Right, finally that's that back together. It was just the reverse of taking it apart. Didn't see much point in filming that. I haven't tested it yet though, so let's see what happens. Battery's back in. Let's power it on. So far so good. Right, you must adjust the settings. Touchscreen still working. Enter nickname. Put the glasses on to see this. Colour blue is fine. What's today's date? 6th. Yep. It's months, so that'll be 9. And the time is 5:59. Skip that. Okay, so reset. And the top screen's definitely, excuse me, definitely working fine. So I'm gonna just make sure this bottom screen is okay. Go through the calibration. Uh, 1 let's try a cartridge out. I've got one of these multi-cart things from AliExpress. I haven't tried this either. Well, at least it fits. Right. Right, okay, I've had enough of that. Right, so it's definitely working. So I'm kind of relieved at that. Wasn't I wasn't looking forward to doing the top screen, just because of the price of the screen. Having to replace that, basically I could have just went on and bought a working second hand one for that price. I only really went ahead with this purely based on content. So yeah, job done. Power switch soldered in. Was going to do the little flap swap, but that just didn't seem tight enough to me. So I did use hot air to solder the new one in. That actually went very easy. I'd say the most annoying bit is feeding the ribbon cable through for the top screen. That was a bit of a pain in the backside. But apart from that, all went quite smoothly and it works perfectly, so yeah, happy days. Right, so that's that for this one. If you liked this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, then please subscribe to the channel, it's much appreciated. If you click the bell notification icon, you'll be notified anytime I upload new content. Thanks for watching. Cheers.